Good day, Mark Wagner here, Dental Bytes. Had a couple cancellations again today, so I promised myself in December, it was a New Year's resolution that I'd try to do this podcast every single week. So in the event that I had a cancellation, I told myself that I was going to do a solo episode. So today I'm going to dive into video, something that I know very deeply, something that I'm extremely passionate about. It's something that, Dentist On Demand itself is built on. Dentist On Demand is built on video marketing. That's what we do, whether that's social media, managing social media. Meta advertisement is where sort of our bulk of our business is, in social media advertisement. Or the folks that I've been out and I've done, I've shot your amazing products or services and told that story, whether that's a dental laboratory or a cool new dental chair or a cool new scanner or your new cool zirconia hybrid in your laboratory. That's it's all about video, is all about storytelling. So, and this podcast itself is based on telling stories, and it's something that I just love doing. But video, I'll get into it. It's hard. Where do you start? What's right, what's wrong? I'm going to ramble through it all today. Thanks for joining me. So, obviously it's part of Dentist On Demand's business. Huge part. Our key business parts are, social media marketing, and then organic social media content, whether that's managing your social media page or, building content for you. We are all about brand and awareness, and what is kind of, and I'll get into this, what video marketing does for your practice. If you think in terms of sales, and like, that's what marketing is it's a sales engine. It builds your patient funnel. Video marketing is the top of your funnel. So, if we think of Google in terms of something that, people are on Google and searching for a dentist, and, there's intent there to purchase, where social media marketing and video marketing and meta and that realm is, somebody might not need your services right there and then, but when it comes time for them to, usually it's spurred on by something that's gone wrong in their mouth or something, that they're aware that, hey, I saw that video, a month back, 2 weeks back, whenever that was, and then they are taking the initiative to find you. Using video as like an immediate conversion tool, it works. It does work. But, if you want immediate conversion, that's Google. Google, as everybody is well aware of, it's a battle. You're on a battle. You're building your SEO. It's the long game. That's sort of the organic piece of it. The off-page, the on-page mission to the race to the top of the Google world, whether that's on an organic or your paid AdWords. It's expensive but effective, obviously. Where video comes in is it's a great adjunct to the overall marketing strategy, and that's sort of where we sit as a company. We don't want to fight and and battle with all the others that are doing Google. We do have resources and a team that can do your Google marketing, build websites and all that, but where we specialize is in video content. And ultimately, this podcast is also a part of that, as telling stories. An eventual thing of our goal is to, Dentist On Demand itself, if you go to dentisondemand.com, it's a listing service. So there are several of our clients on there. You can search for your dentist by either postal code or zip code, somebody close in your area, and jump onto what we call their microsite. Take a look at them. We have everything on that one page for a patient to sort of determine whether or not you're a good fit for them. And ultimately, we don't want to. We get it. Like the big ticket items, the all-on-4s, the orthodontic cases. Those are something that they're great for the production of their practice. But let's in terms of thinking of the long-term health of the practice, we want those patients that are coming back for hygiene, right? That's the nucleus of the practice. We want to help you tell your story on why patients should come see you and see you for their lifetime. And that's when I think of my dentist, Dr. Margolis, on 200th Street in Delta. I'm the type that I've been going to see Dr. Margolis for the last 35 years. So that's to me how you're going to build your practice. In terms of the foundation of the practice, let's build out that hygiene. And I'm saying the obvious thing, obviously. Let's get folks into the practice and then coming back on a regular basis. And then let's have all the tools in place to talk about treatment. And, that's where orthodontics come in. That's where implants come in. That's where all these other great services that you all provide come in. It's having the proper discussion with them in their oral health journey. As a patient, the great ones out there are also taking, responsibility for their oral health alongside with you. You are sort of their guru of their oral health. And your job is to excite them and educate them on why it's super important to floss. I was just and I'm guilty. I was just with my son yesterday. Took him to the dentist, and it's always interesting when I'm sitting there and I'm sitting with the dentist and I'm. It's like, those caries, they always show up interproximally, and they're like, oh, are you a dentist? Like, no, I run a dental marketing company. But anyways, if we look in terms of like where the practices that folks keep going back to are the ones that, the bottom line, the foundation of it all is they're like so patient forward, so patient thinking. It's all about their experience. It's all about their comfort. It's all about educating them. So in our video marketing strategy is we're turning the cameras on and we're just bringing all that good stuff out. So, and it's a challenge when, sometimes we've got a new practice and a practice owner hasn't really kind of got there yet with sort of what their brand and their vision is. But, it's always that's always sort of got to be the foundation of it all to build that healthy, long-term growing practices. Yeah. When you get to that point, we've got a great client here in Cloverdale. He wanted to focus on overdentures, which is really cool. He's really dialed into how that technology would work in his practice to, he's deep into implant and he's training courses and all that kind of stuff. He's established there. It's got a great steady inflow of hygiene patients. And part of doing the video is, yes, there's video advertisement on Meta, but the video also is how you curate the content is as important as well. So, obviously using the video as, on advertisement, it's paid, it's attracting traffic, that kind of thing, but it's also parked on the website. So people can when they're jumping on from Google, they've got a really nice video of the dentist saying, this is what I'm passionate about. This is where I've had my training. My goal with you, patient, when you come to my practice, this is how I want you to feel. People make purchases based on how you make them feel. And that's, when you think of any experience that you've had in your life, the focal point is the feeling that you had when you were there. Anything highlighted in your life, it's, whether it's negative or positive, when you look back through your history of your life, the things that pop into your mind is, we're human. So the video that we generate is we want to like impart a feeling in people of, ultimately trust. Historically people, the dentist for them is maybe not a place that's been fun for them. So, if we're putting ourselves out there, let's convey this confidence of, this is, we are really good at what we do here. We're going to take care of you. And we've got so many great clients that are doing so many great things. And my job is usually pretty easy when it comes to turning the camera on and the mics on and getting that out of them. I'm not one that actually goes out and scripts things either. I don't like scripts, and there's one reason why I don't is there's a couple of reasons. When I do a video that's scripted and I see the metrics on it afterwards, the conversion on it, the ones that are scripted perform not as well as the ones that are just off the cusp, genuine. How am I able to sort of unscript things is when I'm in the practice producing these videos, I'm directing, I'm asking the questions. The camera's on for an hour to get a 30-second clip. After an hour of recording, I'm able to sort of pull and cut these beautiful little pearls that I end up using for the material. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy sort of, that's cool. You want to grow your practice, but like, let's put that sort of that ego aside. Let's put that, that stress aside, and let's just talk about what you're doing here, and why people should come and see you. So, let's get into it here. A little bit about video. I've got a script here. So there you go. And this is sort of something I wrote before. So I'm kind of, I'm not practicing what I preach here, but these are points. I just got points that I want to go over here. So, video marketing, and like why it works. And I talked about this before. We're humans. We're emotional learners. So, when it comes to the dentist, a lot of folks, anxiety is the first feeling that they experience when they got the experience of like the anxiety, and then the financial comes next. So, let's address that anxiety first. So in the video, it's immediate, it's facing the camera, very confident. You guys are all doctors, right? So it's like when I shoot the video, I instruct folks that, think about you're talking to your mom when you're in front of the camera here, and explaining why to your mom that you should come to see, to come to your practice. So that's sort of where I start. And emotion too. And we'll get to the the sales part of it. People purchase, really on feeling. The video actually becomes the first part of your relationship with that patient too. Whether it's an advertisement or a video that they see on your website, it's an opportunity for them to really get a good indicator of like, okay, I like this guy or gal. Like I think I'm going to be comfortable going here. Like I feel like this person is going to take care of me and prescribe a treatment that, is conservative and not out to get me. That's another, if you go across all the, there's some advertisements out there that are all about, the pennies and the dollars. And if you open up the comment section on a lot of those advertisements, you see, this is where I see it. People will open up those comment sections and just rip dentists apart about being just gougers, and it's all about making money and all that kind of thing. One thing that I take a lot of pride in is, our advertisements, and I'm not even kidding you, because we're shooting them the way that we are, they're produced and curated in a GeoNet around the practice. Obviously, we want to attract patients within their proximity, but patients that will be already patients of the practice will jump on and go, oh my God, I love Dr. So-and-so. They're amazing. I've had such a great experience. So these advertisements over time will accumulate. Like we've had one really great client on in the Aldergrove area that her advertisement now is like, it's also a testimonial. Like you open it up and all these people are just glowing about how amazing she is and how she's taken care of people. It's really heartwarming, so that's, accumulation over time. But yeah, back to the emotional part. That's why it's so important to be genuine. That's why I stay away from scripting things. So yes, we want to have a general idea of like what we want to shoot, but I have that in my mind of the questions to ask and the, that flow that I will be taking that person through that day. I flew out to Edmonton a couple weeks ago, and I was with a few practices out there, and my job. To do my job, I really need to understand what the dentist is all about and then extract that out of them. So, if you're shooting a video, figure out how you can sort of just put the business owner of your practice aside and talk about like why you're doing what you're doing. People see that, people attach value to that, and that's why they're going to come and see you. And that's why if they're anxious, they're going to have a higher tendency and a higher conversion rate on the folks that are nervous. So that's super important. And why it works. I talked about this, like we're building trust. That's what you want to have with your patients at the end of the day, isn't it? At the end of the day, the patients that are going to come back, they have a relationship with you built on a foundation of trust. And yes, the marketing is a part of that, but the biggest piece of your marketing and the most effective, three things in your marketing. I'll get into those three things, but the key points of once you have them in the practice, spend some time. Schedule in to actually get to know the patients, and that's so important. And get to know, really. Get to know them, their history, how they tick, their character types, all that stuff. The guys and gals that have built really strong practices are not only doing that, but they're really getting out there and knowing their community as well. As being a part of the community in terms of, whatever that might be, right? We're so fortunate to be in this industry. A lot of those getting out into the community will be like an opportunity to just go and give back in ways like the Ride to Cure Cancer, that kind of stuff. But do it, not in a like this evil way, but, the more you network out in your community, the more it's gonna benefit you too. So in your social media, make sort of connecting with the community as part of your deal. Get to know the coffee shop around the corner and how they're struggling to have people coming through the door, and talk about how you can collaborate and bring folks mutually to your businesses, and your referral network too. Your specialists, make them a part of your network and community as well. Referrals are a big deal obviously for specialists, right? If we talk about for a specialist, a huge part of like getting folks off the street, if we talk about orthodontists or prosthodontists, periodontists, like obviously, a huge part of your business is going to come, maybe orthodontists a little bit less because that they're maybe sought out a little bit more. I see it. It's always look at that number of folks that are coming off the street to see you. But like your marketing, sort of, you got to think of what your audience is, right? So in part of your marketing as a specialist, you want to market to GPs and put things together, pamphlets or whatever on, hey, this is why you should be sending your challenging cases to me because of A, B, and C. Like really put that structure together when you go and canvas and knock on doors and really get to know people face to face. Get to know, and be that person that if there's a phone call, or a text message, hey, I've got this going on, like really be there for that network, right? The communication is great. Like there's so many great tools and services that make this a lot easier and a lot more streamlined, but that is your marketing too. If we think about, using video as like a marketing piece for your network or internal marketing as well. And, video is a great piece to post-op, patient education, all that great stuff. It's really lending to them, that the patients seeing you when, before they've got to the practice and then thereafter. It's awesome. So obviously building out your website with all these pieces is kind of the future, and a really great website has this kind of content available, right? It's not just all stock images and text and all that kind of thing. A lot of what I'm doing when I'm coming out to shoot video is, yes, we're going to capture that advertisement video, but let's get some patients in and do some testimonials and all that great stuff and put it all together. I always go off on tangents, but that's, I just want to spew out my thoughts. So what else do I got here? Yeah, obviously, authority and credibility, engagement, retention, conversation rates, conversion rates, repurposing video across all the platforms, brand and awareness, brand and awareness. If we think in terms of, old school, right? Old school, where you've got the flyer that goes in the newspaper and all that kind of stuff. If we think of in terms of like meta advertisement, in terms of like the new school flyer, it's a way more cost effective way to get in front of your people. Who's on Meta? Like like everybody is on Facebook. Like everybody, and you can target them, right? So in the case that we're talking about like the practice that wanted to go after overdentures, you can really like nail down your demographics, whereas like the old school flyer, you're just kind of like hitting everybody, where you can be really targeted with your your approach. If it's if you've got a dentures practice, obviously you don't want to spend money on your advertisement and that kind of thing to folks that typically wouldn't need your services, whether that's a partial or whatever, right? So that's another great piece to the video too, is the advertisement is you can really target who's seeing it. It's super powerful. Let's go down my list here. Let's go down. Yeah, I talked about this already. They're meeting, the folks are meeting you before you get to the practice, right? It establishes that relationship. It's a one-sided relationship, but they really know what they're going to get themselves into before they show up to the practice. And then what do you have when the patient gets there? You have a less anxious patient as well. So that's another way to look at things as well. interesting angles. Just kind of bouncing. My cords aren't working, I guess. Ah, boy. Yeah. That's why you should hire me to do your videos, because I've purchased all this stuff. It's not cheap, and like you can actually film really, like, my goodness, I think I read somewhere that the newest iPhone is coming out with an 8K camera. Like, wow, that just kind of blows my mind. At like 120 frames per second. Like, that's shooting some pretty high quality video. One thing that you should be hyper aware of, though, if you're doing your own video in practice, is the sound. The sound is such an important piece that's often overlooked in shooting a video. So, not only equipping yourself with a great, you can get great high quality looking video on your iPhone, but like really investigate and look into which microphone to roll alongside. And there's microphones actually that you can plug in to your iPhone that are really fantastic. So DM me for those. Yes. Again, like an opportunity for the patient to, visually see what's in your practice. So highlighting some of the great technology that you're using, getting all the team members involved, even the front end team, so that like somebody's walking through the practice, like in their imagination, they've already been there. It's a powerful thing. Virtual walkthroughs are another really creative way to show your practice. Going out, we've got a 3D camera where we set up and actually somebody can like walk through your practice and really get a feel for the environment. And like know all of these things too. Like if it's time to throw another coat of paint on the wall, invest in that. Like that, all these little things. It's not just the video. Like it's the environment once they get there. It's your team culture. Obviously, that opens up a whole nother ball of wax to talk about. That'll be on my next podcast where somebody cancels. But like the first step in shooting your video is really determining like, what are you all about? And that sometimes that's a hard thing to sort of put together, but really kind of sitting down and thinking about that, so that when it comes time to putting these pieces together, it's genuine. It's not just, don't script it in the way that you think people would want to hear it either. People can sense that. So the more real it is, picture this. So you've scripted something. It's what you think that the patient wants to hear. They show up to the practice and they get something completely different, like a different feel when they get there. Think about it in sense of that. So think of your video, when you shoot your video, is, it's the first initial one-sided way of you to introduce yourself to that patient. And if you're kind of talking about things that aren't real or that kind of thing, it's going to just kind of derail that whole workflow. So, and also, talking about, internal marketing as well. You might have bought a new piece of equipment. That's a great opportunity to do something, and say you invested in a CBCT, showing like how cool is this new technology. We can actually see things and move things around and that kind of thing. So, we're investing in your care and make it all about that. Anyways, tangent on tangent on tangent. Authentic. I talked about this too, and I made a point to say this, like, authenticity beats something that's completely polished. People will overlook sort of the quality of the video if it's authentic. That's why that's why when I shoot this, obviously I've spent the time to invest in this room and everything to do this, but I goof up regularly on this thing. And I know that if I'm just myself, that it's going to be fine. I'm not pretending to be something that I'm not. What you see is what you get. And that goes for Dentists on Demand and our business too. I'm not going to promise something that I know that I can't deliver on. And that's sort of, I've always, that's I think the hard part about like when somebody, turns on the camera, just if you're just talking about things that you're that you're all about and you're not making things up, then that's something that like takes practice over time. And that's like actually something, a cool like personal development of mine, like shooting these over 5 years, that I'm just going to be myself. Like, and that's the way you should be in front of the camera too. And the thing is just start, like practice, and social media is a great tool for that. Like goof up, be silly, just be yourself. And when it comes to social media too, like it's easier there because you can, if you're following the trends, and that's typically how social media works, is if you're following the trends, the algorithms are going to show your content before the others. And also video content is, we talk about algorithms and what's shown before everything else is video, right? So, another thing too is be consistent too, especially when it comes to social media. If you're going to commit to it, like build a schedule on when you're going to do these things. Like maybe take a look at the months and coordinate it with like whether that's the oral health thing. Like that's typically what everybody does, but it's not so much about that. It's more about the consistency of it. When we talk about like traction with social media, you're going to get more traction if it's consistent. And also too, so in closing the video, always think of your call to action, right? What is the purpose of the video? Like if that's for them to book an appointment, or if that's for them to, hey, go check out this, information, you should educate yourself on this. Always have sort of a call to action, and, and make it easy for them too, especially when it comes to an advertisement, video advertisement. If you think in terms of people like clicking away from things, like you have like literally, in some cases seconds to have a really, whether that's like a booking online widget that you can talk to us about that. We have that too. We have a couple different software tools that we sell. Because it's all about, how once they see things, like where are they going after that? What is the purpose of that, right? And whether that's, a post-op video, talking about how to properly take care of, an implant site and that kind of stuff. And talking to them what osseointegration is, or whatever that might be, right? Like it's always have your call to action to as at some point in your video. But yeah, video is a super powerful piece. Again, this is like, I'm just jumping on here with some simple notes here, and I wanted to kind of carve out these 10 key points on why video is so important right now with digital dental marketing. Number one is video gets priority in the algorithm. So, if we think of Instagram or stories, where our eyeballs are going, typically with video, we stay on things longer as well. Like that's why we're on all these platforms. They're promoting the video because we're flipping through them, right? People watch the video even without sound. So if you have a video, make sure that you have, caption as well. Super important. But yeah, like people are flicking through even without sound. Video builds trust and emotions faster, right? So I talked about this at length It's your opportunity. It's a one-sided opportunity for them to build a relationship with you, and build trust in what your practice and your team is going to provide that patient. Right. Attention spans are short, right? So it's so if you can craft a really impactful video, it's going to deliver information fast, right? People are less likely to read through things or an email. But if you have a video that's explaining something, it's your chance, if you have them, to communicate something quickly. Video drives more comments, shares, and saves. People are engaging with video more. If you go into the comment sections and that kind of thing, and all the viral things are usually video, right? So people are engaging with that. Video boosts conversion rates, right? So if it's all about the trust thing. So if we're building up the trust, with a video, we're tapping into their emotional keys, and in terms of like a static stock image that doesn't have any feel or any soul. It's a genuine video of you talking about your great practice. You're going to attract more eyeballs and more traffic. That is just, I've seen it, and it's several magnitudes more. Content can be repurposed. So like this podcast, right? You've seen, if you're listening to this, you've also seen the reels that I cut up and post everywhere. The audio that I pull off is available on Spotify. So, especially when it comes to when you're filming, keep the cameras rolling. Just don't turn it on and off. Like, keep it going. There's several great tools. One of them on your phone is CapCut. You can take a video on there and clip little parts and things like that. Just keep the camera on, because often you get really great pieces and you kick yourself because you turn the camera off and like, oh, that would have been great. As soon as you get into your creative session, turn the camera on and leave it on. That's my suggestion. And then use these tools to cut and clip. Again, like meta targeting tools, loves video on websites, video is king. And that's for a reason, is people engage with it. People stay on it. The goal of these social media platforms are to keep you flicking through all night long. We all have this disease, right? So we're all captured with these quality videos that are based on our historical looks and likes and all that kind of thing. The algorithm is a real deal. That's what it keeps us. Like, what I look at is very different than what my neighbor looks at. So, these social media platforms do a fantastic job of keeping us glued, and that's with video. Educational, right? And entertaining. So keep it light, keep it not so clinical, keep it, think of in terms of how the patient's going to feel. And if you're light and you're talking about doing some, have a joke or whatever, just be yourself. And that's a good combo of things. And especially, the educational and the entertaining part can also come not as a video advertisement, but also on your website or whatever. Always be yourself. If you're funny and you like to make people laugh and that's your characteristic, then that's who you should be in front of the camera. Don't be anybody else. Again, it's where the data is pointing to, more time watching video than the more people are watching video than any other piece of content. So, that's TikTok, right? That's all these billions, we're talking of billions of people are glued to these things. We're talking a healthy percentage of the entire planet with technology to watch videos are watching videos, right? It is so key, and so powerful. And it's honestly right now taking over in terms of, if we talk about how people absorb information and searching on Google and all that kind of stuff, where, we see advertisement placed in that search query. People are jumping to things like ChatGPT and all these AI platforms or Alexa or Siri to get their information queries. So people are using Google less, and Google is getting more expensive. So if we think in terms of I'm an 80s kid, you can think of commercials, TV commercials. Video has always been the king. Has always been the king of marketing. I know I'm biased, but it's true. Our bonus. I've got a bonus here. The platforms are telling us what to do. So Meta is pushing video because that's what people consume. It's as simple as that. There we go. Back to my last point. People consume video. That's a given. So if you can now use that as a form of your marketing and do that well, you're going to be very successful, even organically. And what I mean by organically is even on social media, we see some clinics, raising followers, and not everybody's going to be able to do that. Let's face it, right? It's a lot of work. It really is. Yeah, and the folks that are really dialed into it, they know it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, and that's video too. For video advertisement is Meta. It's not going to convert right away. It's not. It's going to build your awareness, and that's what Dentist on Demand is selling, is brand and awareness. It's so important. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We shoot, if I did not already mention, we do video. So I encourage you, if you're in the market, to get a video produced, whether that's for a CE event or advertisement or social media. That's the nucleus of what we do. The nucleus of our business is actually meta advertisement. So DM me, reach out to us out here at Dentist on Demand, leave a note in the comments. Find us. You can find us everywhere. Let's get a video shot, and let's do it right. Let's do it right. Have me come in and let's do it. Thanks again for tuning in. And this has been another solo podcast with Mark Wagner, your host here at Dental Bytes. We'll see you next week.